I'm Kimberly from Fat Quarter Shop, and today our block is full of holly and happiness in our Up on the Rooftop Mystery Quilt Along. Download your free Holly and Happiness quilt block at Fat Quarter Shop. Links are in our description box below. For week 2, you're going to be using the crossweave fabric, and then you're going to be using the berry and pine fabric by Layla Boutique. You're going to use a red for your holly and a green for your leaves. We also have a free coordinating cross stitch pattern, and you can see week 1 and week 2. After you've gathered your fabric and your pattern, let's get sewing. So in the Holly and Happiness block, we're going to be adding a new technique, and that's going to be adding corner squares to make our flying geese. For us to have a successful block, I'm going to be using seam-aligned glue for that, but I want to talk about marking pins when you're working with dark fabric. We're going to be talking about a regular friction pin, a white marking pin, and the clover line pin style in white. So I'm going to give you some options on what works best. When you're using a friction pin with dark fabric, it is going to leave a permanent white line that actually never goes away. So on dark fabric, I don't like to use a friction pin. I'm going to show you 2 different options you can use. Our second option is to use the clover white marking pin, and this one has a little trick to it. What you want to do is draw the line. And when you draw it, you're not going to see anything for about 25 seconds. So after your line shows up, this is what it looks like. And the difference between the friction and the white marking pin is when you iron, this line will go away. Your third option is a Choco liner pin. Now, if you are a seamstress, you've probably used this type of product before. It's got a little wheel in it, kind of like a tracing wheel, and you can draw your line. With this one, you will instantly see your marking, and when you iron, it will disappear. So those are your 3 options. Our first step in this quilt is going to be making flying geese units. You're going to take a fabric E rectangle and a fabric C square. I use the white marking pin by Clover to mark all of my lines. And what I like to do is use seam-aligned glue and put 3 little glue dots, put this on the edge, and then let this completely dry before I sew it. If you don't want to use seam-aligned glue, you could just put a couple of pins. And I know it's a small piece of fabric, but if you put 3 pins, I guarantee the fabric will not move. From there, you're going to stitch directly on that line. Then you're going to cut a 1/4 inch away from that drawn line and stitch line and press. And this is what your flying geese is going to look like. Now remember, I'm pressing my quilt open, but the instructions show you how to press to one side if you want to do that. And then here is your flying geese unit. And then you're going to add to the bottom your other square using that same technique. This is what your flying geese is going to look like. It should be 2 by 3.5 inches. You're going to actually make 18 of these. And then you're going to take sections of 3, making sure all the geese fly the same way. Sew these together with a 1/4 inch seam, definitely pinning, and you're going to make leaves units. You're going to make 6 of these. Our next step is to make strip sets. From those strip sets, we're going to end up making our holly berry units, which are basically 9 patches. You're going to take 2 fabric D rectangles and a fabric F, sew those together with a 1/4 inch seam. You're going to make 1 of those. That is going to look just like this. Then you're going to do red on the outside, black on the inside, and make 1 of those. Then your unit is going to look like this. So you have 1 of each. With the strip set that has the black on the outside, we're going to subcut that into 6 1.5 by 3.5 inch rectangles. From the red strip set, we're going to cut that down into only 3 1.5 by 3.5 inch rectangles. So I'm going to show you how to do that. What I like to do is just take one end, put a line on your Creative Grits ruler on a seam, and trim. And then these are 1.5 inch sections. So what I like to do is cut at the 3 inch first, then come back and do 1.5 inches. I just think it kind of comes out a little bit better cutting that way. And like I said, you're gonna need 6 of these. You're gonna get rid of this outside piece. And from the red one, you only need 3. And these are gonna be your holly berry units. And basically it's just a 9 patch. You're gonna sew them together just like this. And this is your holly berry unit. You're gonna be making 3 of these. Then you're going to take your holly berry unit and 2 of your leaves units, and you want to place it where your flying geese are going to the inside. The points are going inside. And from here, I'm going to pin the top and the bottom, and then once in the center. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and I'm going to sew this together with a 1/4 inch seam. Now before I iron this, I just want to make sure I did not chop off my flying geese points. From here, I want to set this seam, flip this over, set this seam, press to one side, and then I'm pressing my units open. You can either press them this way, or you can press them according to how the pattern is written. You're going to make 3 holly bouquet units that look just like this, making sure your flying geese go inward. Now you're going to take these 3, and in the center you're going to add fabric B rectangles, and I'm going to pin this entire row all together and sew it all together just to save time. As you can see here, some of my seams are pressed open and some are to one side. You can do it either way. I'm going to leave it like this and add fabric A rectangles to the top and bottom. So then you're going to take your fabric A rectangles, find the center, then take your row, find the center, then match up your centers, pin on each end, and then you just want to pin all the way across. So then you're going to sew with a 1/4 inch seam, press, and then add the other rectangle to the bottom. And this is what week 2 of the Up on the Rooftop Mystery Quilt Along looks like. That completes week 2. Let me know what fabric collection you're using, or if you're using our quilt kit. I can't wait to see you in week 3, and make sure you have everything all caught up because week 3 is a little bit lengthy.